Hello and welcome back to the class on algorithms. In this video, we are going to see the lower one for any comparison based sorting algorithm. More particularly, we are going to show that any comparison based sorting algorithm would require omega of n log n number of comparisons, that is at least n log n number of comparisons. So the way we are going to do is through a notion of decision trees. In this video, we are going to define what is a decision tree for a sorting algorithm. Then we will see that so once we define the decision trees, we are going to connect the number of comparisons to be done by the sorting algorithm. In worst case is going to be equal to height of the decision tree, and then we will show that this height of the tree will be at least n by 2 into log of n by 2. So the way we are going to do this, in between we are also going to show that the number of leaf nodes in the decision tree for any sorting comparison based sorting algorithm is going to be factorial n. So we are going to put all these things together. We are going to see that the low bound for sorting is n log n. To begin with, let's try to understand what is the decision tree for a sorting algorithm. So let's try to understand what decision trees are. So we will be basically talking about binary decision trees, mostly in the context of sorting algorithms. As the name suggests, it's a binary tree such that in each node we do a test. The answer to this is decision either yes or no. If the answer is yes, then we take the left child. If the answer is no, we take the right child and the right branch, and the algorithm continues. So when you reach the leaf nodes, the algorithm actually terminates, and we have the answer to the algorithm that you are trying to write. Let's look at a particular example of a decision tree. Let's look at the bubble sort algorithm that we studied, and let's consider the decision tree for the bubble sort algorithm. In the bubble sort, let's say that we are given three distinct numbers a1, a2, a3, and in each of these nodes we take two numbers and ask the question whether a of I is actually greater than a of I plus 1, right? So if a of I is greater than a of I plus 1, then we swap these two numbers. Otherwise, we don't do anything, we go to the next one. So first we compare a1 with a2. If a1 is smaller than a2, then you compare a2 with a3. If a2 is smaller than a3, then you don't do any swapping. Then so we declare that a3 is the largest number, and then you come back and work with the remaining n minus 1 numbers. In this case, you just compare a1 and a2. And if a1 is smaller than a2, you just conclude that a1 is smaller than a2, smaller than a3. Let's write down the decision tree for this. So I asked the question, first question that I asked is whether a1 is smaller than a2. If a1 is smaller than a2, then the bubble sort algorithm will start comparing whether a2 is smaller than a3. If the answer is yes, then you know that a3 is the largest number, which is at the end. Then we start comparing whether a1 is smaller than a2. If the answer is yes, it means that a1 is the smallest number, then we have a2, then we have a3. So if the answer to this question is no, then we notice that a2 will be smaller than a1, which will be smaller than a3. But this leaf node is never reachable, because I come to the left hand side in the first node here, because a1 is smaller than a2. I will reach here only if a1 is smaller than a2, and when I go to the right hand side here, I will come here. This means that a2 is smaller than a1. This will never happen. Okay, since when I come here, a1 has to be smaller than a2, otherwise we will never reach this location. But the bubble sort algorithm will not remember that a1 is already compared with a2. So it only pushes the largest element to the end. In the future iterations, even if the sequence is all sorted, it will still continue to do the same comparisons. Continuing with this, if the answer to this a2 is smaller than a2 is not true, that means that a2 is the largest number. In that case, A2 will be swapped with A3. In the next iteration, we will compare A1 with A2. As A1 with A3, because A3 is been swapped with A2. A2 is the largest number, so we will compare A1 with A3. If the answer to this is yes, that means that A1 is the smallest number. A1 is smaller than A3, which is smaller than A2. So if this answer to this question is no, that means that A3 will be the smallest one. So A3 will be smaller than A1, which is smaller than A2. So similarly, when I go to the right hand side, what happens is that the answer to this is no. So A1 and A2 will be swapped here. So A1 will be compared with A3. If A1 is smaller than A3, then A3 is the largest number. So A2 is in the beginning. A2 is compared with A1. And if A2 is smaller than A2 is smaller than A1, then so what we are going to write that A2 is smaller than A1, which is smaller than A3. If the answer is no here, that means that A1 is smaller than A2, which is smaller than A3. So notice also that this also cannot happen. We went to the right hand side because A1 was not smaller than A2. So that means that when you go to the right hand side here, A2 is greater than A1. So when I ask the question whether A2 is smaller than A1, so we went to the right hand side because A2 is smaller than A1. So when I ask the question here, obviously we have to go to the left. We cannot go to the right here. Okay, if A2 is not smaller than A1, then we would not have come here, right? So this node is also not reachable. So if A1, when we compare A1 with A3, if this condition is false, that means that A3 is the smallest one. In that case, A3 is smaller than A1, so A1 becomes the largest number in this case. So it is we will go to the end. A2 is in the first position, which is going to be compared with A3, which is in the second position. If this condition is true, what this algorithm will conclude is that A2 is smaller than A3, which is smaller than A1. If this condition is false, what this indicates is that A3 is the smallest one, next number is A2, and A1 is at the end. So we have, since it's a full binary tree, since the height is 3, so what you say is that there are 8 leaf nodes, out of which 2 leaf nodes are not reachable. If we have exactly 6 leaf nodes, which corresponds to different permutations of A1, A2, A3. So given any sorting algorithms, I can talk about a decision tree for that sorting algorithm. So what we do is that you start with the first node. So you do the first comparison that you do. Depending on whether the answer is yes or no, you either go to the left hand side or right hand side. If the answer is yes, you keep doing the next set of comparisons, and when you reach the leaf node, you notice that what you get will be the so when you reach the leaf node, you get the sorted sequence. So what is important here is to notice that height of the tree here is h. Then in worst case, you have to start at the root node, and you get the sorted sequence only when you reach the leaf node. So the number of comparisons that we end up doing is exactly equal to the height of the tree. So, so in worst case, the number of comparisons done by the sorting algorithm is exactly equal to the height of the tree. I repeat, given any sorting algorithm, so that's a sorting algorithm written by you, let's say, and I do not know what is your sorting algorithm. I am trying to see what is the maximum number of comparisons that will be done by the algorithm. So what I do is that I write a decision tree for it. What is a decision tree? I first ask the question, what are the two numbers? Since it's a deterministic algorithm, I will ask the question, what are the first two numbers that you're going to compare? So yeah, that is what is the first comparison, and depending on the answer, you do certain comparisons. I write it down. So see, let's say that h is the height of the tree, and when you reach your algorithm for sorting will terminate when you reach the leaf node. So you have to start at the root node and reach the leaf node. So the number of comparisons that you end up doing is exactly equal to h. In worst case, the number of comparisons that the sorting algorithm that you need to do is exactly equal to h. So given any sorting algorithm, I can talk about the decision tree for that algorithm, and in worst case, the number of comparisons done by this algorithm is exactly equal to height of the tree. So in one of the previous classes, we have seen that if L is the number of leaf nodes in the number of leaf nodes in the in any binary tree, then L should be smaller than or equal to 2 to the power h. Okay, so we have seen this. This is true for any binary tree. The number of leaf nodes is always going to be smaller than or equal to 2 to the power h, where L is the number of leaf nodes, h is the height of the tree. In other words, h is going to be greater than or equal to log of L. Okay, so h, which is the number of in worst case the number of comparisons done by this algorithm, this is going to be greater than log of L, where L is the number of leaf nodes. Now let's pay our attention to asking the question, what is the number of leaf nodes that this particular algorithm should this decision tree should be having. So notice that so for the given if there are n numbers, so the input can be any one of the permutations of the given n numbers. So if I give you two different inputs, what you notice that when you follow this decision tree, if I give you two different inputs, your algorithm should necessarily follow two different paths and reach two different leaf nodes. Okay, so in that case, what we can conclude is that if I give you two different inputs, so let's say that I follow the first input and reach here. Since the input is different, when I do some comparison, if the answer to in the first case was yes, in the second case has to be no. So if you don't give me the same input, the moment the input is different at some node in the decision tree, you are going to take a different branch and reach a different leaf node. I repeat, if you give me two different inputs, then so when you follow this decision tree for you, the sorting algorithm, it sorts the given sequence of numbers, we will necessarily end up in the two different leaf nodes. So the number of leaf nodes in the decision tree should be at least factorial n, because factorial n is the number of ways of giving the given n sequence of numbers. Okay, you can take any one permutation of it and that becomes the input to the sorting algorithm. So there are factorial n number of different inputs possible, and each time when I take an input and follow the decision tree problem, so there will be at least factorial n number of nodes. Note that the number of leaf nodes has to be at least factorial n. There may be lot more leaf nodes, as we have seen in for the bubble sort. So what we are saying is the factorial 3, which is 6, but we have seen that there were 8 leaf nodes, out of which 2 were not reachable. Similarly, the algorithm that we have considered could be very bad. There may be lot more than factorial n but leaf nodes, but what we are saying is that the number of leaf nodes has to be at least factorial n if the given sequence actually sorts the given sequence of numbers in the sorted order correctly. Okay, so let's write down the summary. So what we said is that the number of comparisons done by the algorithm, number of comparisons done by the algorithm, so the sorting algorithm in worst case, right? In worst case is actually is equal to height of the decision tree for that sorting algorithm. I'll write it as sorting algorithm here. And we have seen that the number of comparisons that you do in worst case is actually equal to the height of the sorting algorithm. But we know that the height of this the height of the is always greater than or equal to log of the number of leaf nodes. And we know that in the sorting problem, the number of leaf nodes in the decision tree is at least factorial n. Okay, so our objective is to show that in any comparison based algorithm it does at least n log n number of comparisons. In other words, the lower bound for comparison based sorting algorithm is omega of n log n. So what we have seen is that we have constructed a decision tree, and we have argued that in worst case the number of comparisons done by the sorting algorithm will be exactly equal to height of the decision tree, which is greater than log times the number of leaf nodes. And we know that the number of leaf nodes in the decision tree should be greater than or equal to factorial n, which means that in worst case the number of comparisons done by the sorting algorithm is greater than or equal to log of factorial n. So we can see that the factorial n, which is the product of all the numbers from I is equal to 1 to n, this I is smaller than n, so this is certainly smaller than n to the power n. So if I take log of factorial n, this is smaller than n into n log n. This basically means that log of factorial n is O of n log n, right? So, but this is not useful for us because we are saying that log of factorial n is smaller than or equal to n log n, which is trivially true. But we want to show that this is greater than some number in terms of n log n. So what we will specifically show that log of factorial n is greater than n by 2 into log of n by 2. So if I can prove that log of factorial n is greater than or equal to n by 2 into log of n by 2, this basically implies that factorial n is omega of n log n. So when I write the term omega, so I can ignore all the constant terms. This would, if I can prove that log of factorial n is greater than n by 2 into log of n by 2, this implies that any comparison based sorting algorithm, the number of comparisons done by the algorithm will be at least n by 2 into log of n by 2, which would imply that the lower bound for any comparison based sorting algorithm is n log n. Now let's play our attention to showing that log of factorial n is greater than n by 2 into log of n by 2. Let's write the factorial n. This is equal to product of all the numbers from I is equal to 1 to n. So this is certainly greater than factorial of n, factorial of I. So the factorial of I, the product of all the I from I is equal to 1 to n, which is greater than product of all the i's from I is equal to n by 2 to n, right? So product of all the numbers from 1 to 100 is certainly greater than product of all the numbers from 50 to 100. So the product of all the numbers from I is equal to 1 to n is certainly greater than product of all the numbers from I by 2 to n. So notice that all the i's which are inside this product is greater than n by 2. So this term should be greater than product of I is going from n by 2 to n, but each of this I is greater than n by 2, right? So because the product is going from I by 2 to n, so every I that is inside should be greater than or equal to n by 2. So this basically means that all the numbers which are inside here are greater than or equal to n by 2, which means the number of numbers between n by 2 and n is at least n. So the factorial n is going to be greater than n by 2 to the power n by 2. So there is a product of n numbers and each of these numbers is greater than n by 2. So the total product should be greater than n by 2 to the power n by 2. So now so what this basically means is that factorial n is greater than n by 2 to the power n by 2, which means that when I take logarithm on both sides, factorial log of n is greater than n by 2 into log of n by 2. Okay, so this is precisely so what was required here. So this completes the proof that any sorting based, any comparison based sorting algorithm, the lower bound is omega of n log n. So in this video we have seen that any comparison based sorting algorithm requires n log n number of comparisons. So the randomized quicksort and the merge sort algorithm that we have already seen are in that sense optimum sorting algorithms. In one of the next future video we are going to see a heap sort which will also be optimum in the sense that it will also sort the given sequence of numbers in n log n number of comparisons.